So, I haven't made a whole lot lately. I have had some real life excuses, but really, I've kind of been in this creative dry spell. So I just haven't had any ideas that are workable. And I know it happens to everybody, but it's kind of discouraging, especially it's kind of gone on for a while. But today I thought, even though I don't have an idea for a piece, I thought I would try making a pendant. I'm sitting on the floor because I like to, this is going to involve some hammering, and I like to do that on the floor because my work table, things bounce off. So that's not always good, because it does take a couple of whacks with this 2-pound hammer, and sometimes things fall off the table. But I have this one, I'm going to use 1mm pewter, this sheet metal. As you can see, I've already used it to make some things. And I'm going to do oval. I've got a couple of oval cutters, metal cutters here. And I'm going to have this one be my center, and then this one be the actual pendant. So I like to start with my center first, the small hole, so that I can try to line up the large hole around it. That works better for me. It doesn't always work in these disc cutters because you only have a certain amount of space, and these actually don't come apart. So I have to work with where I can fit in the sheet. So you can see that there. One thing I want to mention, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am not an instructor, nor do I even really know what I'm doing. I've never even taken a class on this sort of thing, so I just kind of, I've learned by drinking wine and watching YouTube videos and then just like seeing what happens. Usually I don't drink the wine when I'm actually doing it, just when I'm watching the videos. So if you really want to know how to do this, I suggest you learn from someone who is not me. So I'm going to start with my center hole. And I've got some of this lube here that I'm just going to put around the edges of my cutter. That's the right size, yeah. So I just put that in there. I'm kind of trying to get it as straight as I possibly can. And then I'm going to hold it down. And just whack it until it kind of goes through, and I'll save that for later. And so sometimes these don't like to go all the way through, so just kind of get a smaller cutter and tap it through until it comes out the other side. There are a lot of really great quality cutters out there that are very expensive. This is not one of those. This was fairly inexpensive, but it works for me because I don't do this that often, and I'm really just kind of learning and playing around. So here's the one that I'm going to do for my big one, and I'm just going to put the sheet in there and really try to just eyeball it to get it in the center where I want it. I mean, it's not centered. I want it towards the top and in the center. And just kind of look at it and really try to make sure. It's hard, there's a lot of shadows. So it's not always very easy to do, but I find it's easier to start with the small hole than it is to start with the larger hole and then try to center it from there, because it's really difficult to get it in there in the right spot when you can't see all the edges. So you just put the big one in there, try not to move it. I think I moved it a little, maybe not. So you just really want to hold it as best you can without, you know, getting your fingers in the way. Oops. And you whack it. And so that actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna just a couple of tops, get that out of there, and that actually looks kind of exactly where I wanted it to be, almost. Well, actually it's a little off, but I think that's gonna work for my purposes. I've tried drawing, I've tried, you know, all kinds of things. I tend to just do better kind of just eyeballing it.